Goosebumps finale came out just a few days ago, and I have been struggling to figure out what they are doing. Everything from the title of the last episode to the non-satisfying ending has left me extremely confused, and although the SAG-AFTRA strike is over, we've been getting radio silence. Everything about the Goosebumps show has been very confusing. It was announced a few years ago, and then in August, a leaked poster was floating around. In September, we got an 8-second trailer, and then a few weeks before it released, we got a full trailer with more information. The show is heavily serialized and takes monsters or spooky scenarios from the various books and combines them all into one show. In episode 1, we focus on the Cameron Say Cheese and Die. Episode 2, the Haunted Mask, Cuckoo Clock Doom, and then the Worms from Go Eat Worms. But episode 5 is where the show really started to lose me and make me just go insane. Since the beginning, there was something obviously being set up, an overarching story, but the 5th episode does a complete rug pull and gets rid of all the monsters. Besides the inclusion of Slappy in the second half of the show, these last 6 episodes have no connections to the Goosebumps IP besides name. It got even weirder when the 8th episode wrapped up all the plot lines of the show and then needed to include a literal trailer in the episode to remind us that we had 2 more episodes so we didn't stop watching. And these 2 episodes feel like they should have been part of a season 2, which we don't know it's happening. They feel so disconnected. The show has been giving me a headache these past few weeks, so today I'm going to try my best to explain what we know and theorize on what's going on in the future of the Goosebumps show. Now, all of this confusion goes back to episode 8. Finally, all of our main characters were united, the main villain was defeated, and everyone was free to go back living their normal lives and change and whatever. It's wrapped up. Not the perfect ending, but the ending here made sense as almost everything was wrapped up, although there was room for expansion in the future and in a future season 2. And then in the last 2 episodes, we get very little character development, which doesn't warrant extending the season. Episode 9 and 10 are very unnatural. They feel entirely different from the rest of the show. It reminds me of those Mandalorian episodes in Book of Boba Fett. We get these episodes which just shouldn't be where they are. No, not talking about the quality, whether it's good or bad. Episode 9 is the weirdest. For the most part, it's just characters adjusting to their new life and how they adjust, and changing relationships, what you normally get from a normal season starter. But then out of nowhere, Mr. Brad starts bringing Slappy back to life, which reminds me, oh yeah, we're not in a new season. It's just almost at the end of the show. Oh, it's frustrating. I still can't believe the only reason episode 10 happened is because a character had writer's block. With that and the dumb Aunt Lucas and Margot relationship, it left me very mad with the 9th episode as the credits began to roll. But episode 10 was just confusing the whole time. First of all, it is called Welcome to Horrorland, which I'll cover more on later, but that's very strange for a lot of reasons. We learn Slappy is trying to bring the monsters into the world by burning people, and he is defeated, but in the end of the episode, Isaiah dies, and then seemingly the whole episode is reversed because Margot did stuff which has problems, and it's not clear how widespread the problem is, and what that's going to affect in future season 2, besides 2 things we see, where he doesn't die, and then the other guy gets possessed again. And the weirdest thing, we have no news for Greenlit Season 2. I was watching the credits, I'm like, okay, they're going to do a Loki thing, where it's like, Season 2 is coming soon, these characters will return. But we got nothing. That being said, on the Disney Plus banner for Goosebumps, it called the 10th episode the season finale, as opposed to the show finale, which definitely makes Season 2 more likely, but it's still really weird. And with the writer and actor strike over, I really feel like we would have heard something. And if we don't hear something soon, we won't be getting a Season 2 until at least 2025, assuming it would still release around Halloween. Now, I'm not really sure if I want a Season 2, though. Since episode 7 or 8, the show's quality has been steadily declining for me. The only reason I'm making this video is because the ending was so intriguing and I wanted to discuss what could be happening. Marco's decision was so selfish, which I really love, and I want to see everyone else's reactions in Season 2, but also, like I said, we don't know how much has been undone. It seems Mr. Bratt has been possessed again, though through Slappy's spirit this time and not the kid. But the biggest question is, how will Season 2 tie into the Goosebumps IP at all? Slappy's spirit exists in the world, but the puppet's gone, and for us to get any monsters would require 1,000 people dying, many of which are important characters. I mean, Lucas is one of the ones, so they need to all be dead for a good 5 episodes at least, so there's sufficient clips for marketing, and just to keep the viewers coming back week after week. With Margot's decision, It could reverse us all the way to Slappy trying to unleash the monsters, either in this episode or far, far back, which could explain the very confusing title of Welcome to Horrorland. We've done a lot of episodes based on Goosebumps books, I believe 5 now, and then this would be a 6th, and in each case, the episode's title is the name of the book. This episode is called Welcome to Horrorland. The book is called One Day at Horrorland. In the whole series, there's a Horrorland book series. None of them is called that either. And with Slappy's Tiny Circus, his spell trying to unleash the monsters, maybe Marco reversed the spell so back in time, that possibly we go back to when Slappy first tried to do the monster spell, and he gets it right this time because the person won't stop him, and then the park, the amusement thing, it gets turned into a pseudo-Horrorland in the future. This would be interesting because in my previous Goosebumps video, I was discussing the possibility of a spin-off to this show based on the Horrorland book series. For those unaware, a few years ago there was a 20-ish part book series tying various monsters in the individual books and to culminating events trapping all the kids inside Horrorland. I was really hoping if this Goosebumps show did well, we could get an adaptation of that. But if Slappy did his spells, all the monsters would be brought to life, and now Slappy has a vendetta against the kids, and we could get a season 2 based on those Horrorland books. In the first event, there were 2 main ones. I remember something about there being twins who were in cahoots with the villains and trying to stop the kids, and Margot could fit that role. Maybe she strikes some sort of deal with Slappy to keep her friends in Horrorland, but it will keep them safe. Though on that, I'm not sure. Also, with the people in dummies, that would explain like the monster costumes in Horrorland. It's just the dummy people wearing costumes, which would be super cool. And now that I'm saying that, I really want to see that. Slappy even played a part in those original books and a bunch of other villains like Monster Blood and a few others. But if not him, the second part of the series, it was about a gift shop where the gift shop owner, a prominent character, looks just like the Slappy actor. So I feel like we could either get the gift shop owner as being Slappy or do the Slappy doll somehow. And the idea isn't perfect, but it is the only way I can see season 2 of the show working. It doesn't need to be beat for beat with the original series, but I can really see something like this happening, especially with the way the season ended, and I really, really want it because it would be so fun, and I love that book series. And if it's announced, I'm buying the books because I want to reread them. And while at the moment, I'm not very excited with how the show's going, if they announce a Horrorland-based season 2, I will be more hyped than ever for the show, and I will definitely be letting you know. Goosebumps Season 1 was a mess. While it had fun characters and interesting plot points, the writing was very convoluted and was very confusing, but for the most part, I had a fun time. So for right now, I'm patiently waiting for news on Season 2 to figure out what they're doing and how I'm feeling about the show. If you are looking for another Disney Plus show to watch, I highly recommend the new Percy Jackson series coming out in about a month. It looks great, and if we get all 5 seasons based on the books, it will just get better and better. The final book, ooh, that will make such a good season. To learn more, make sure to check out this video. Thank you all for watching so much. I have been Fictional Fanatics. Make sure to stay tuned for more news on the Goosebumps series, and until the next one, bye!